Hello, I'm Steve Solot, President of the Latin American Training Center-LATC, a media training and consulting center focused on professionals of the audiovisual sector that offers technical training programs, publications, and workshops to contribute to the expansion of the audiovisual industry. I'm pleased to welcome you to the 12th online edition of our global film and TV program. As we have seen from the impressive schedule, we have organized a unique program including panels, presentations, master classes with Q&A sessions, and networking opportunities to provide you with a fully immersive experience and a new and deepened understanding of the global audiovisual industry. Thank you for joining our program this year. And on behalf of all our LATC staff, I wish you a rewarding professional and personal experience as you take advantage of everything our program has to offer this year. Enjoy.
The masterclass today is entitled Film Festivals, the Traveling Circus. There's a debate in the business among producers whether or not film festivals are important or not, but used as a form of public relations and premieres for a film, they are key. They can be key to making your film. And there's a whole strategy to picking film festivals for your movie. This is a masterclass by a master of film festivals, Bruno Chatelin, on why international film festivals are strategic to getting your film made and seen. Bruno Chatelin, it was one of the first people I met in the film industry back in 2010. I met him in Cannes, and I have been working with him ever since. Bruno graduated from HEC with an MBA. He spent 10 years with international ad agencies. He became a film distributor for Sony and then Fox, later launching about 250 films for major marketing director for Columbia and TriStar. Then managing director when Fox merged. I'll let him elaborate on that. He was recognized as an innovative marketing expert and named by Film Française as one of the film personalities when he merged UGC with Fox. He went on to become an internet entrepreneur and co-founded several companies, including filmfestivals.com, that became the international leader in the film festival news, a partner of major festivals. He contributed in the business development of an audiovisual studio center in Cherbourg, led by FICAR Group and Film Schools, and he runs Film Consulting Boutique, where he specializes on film marketing and international film festival strategies. I will let Bruno take it from here. Filmfestivals.com has become, I think it was built you started it in 1995?
Yeah, I did. I want to come back on what you just said about there's a debate about whether film festivals are important, and all you will hear from me from this side is yes, they are important and capital, and they can break your career. I mean, make your career and bring breakthrough. You might hear that festivals are less important in the mouth of the sales agents, because all they are concerned is making sales and profit and bringing cash to their company and to the producers. But there's another element that's vital and very important in the filmmaker's career, which is the panache is gathered on the festival circuit, the people he meets, he met on the circuit, the colleagues, the peers he will be introduced to while navigating the festival circuit, and that's really important. And when I say it can make a career, I have examples, and I'll share those. And of course, once you've invested in making the movie, it's important to bring some return on your investment and get some sales. But it's also very important to build your future and your career, and that's what the festival will be doing for you. So let me go through, if that works, through a small presentation I prepared for my friends at LATC. And of course, I wish we were all of us in the same room as we usually do in Los Angeles during AFM, because there's much more interaction. Although I like the idea of the masterclass, I much prefer the exchange and answering specific questions. And I hope we get to that point at the next stage. So let me first share this, hopefully, document. I'll be sharing a few tips I've gathered navigating the circuit in any part of the world you can imagine for the past, 30 years or so. Vanessa has been kind enough to introduce myself, so I won't spend too much time on that. The big advertising agencies I work with are international publicists which bought Macius, Darcy McManus and Macius, and then the other agency, J. Walter Thompson. What's very important, if you want to spend 2 seconds on that type of work, when you work in an ad agencies, you are trained to work on something you are not an expert yet, but you are bound to become one. So, and it teaches you how to find the clues on what the consumer may want, on which elements you might want to stress, so that they and focus and present, so that the customers will be wanting to buy. So basically, it's about finding the angles, the selling points, and getting the fast-tracked knowledge of many different markets. In my career at ad agencies, I worked on maybe 20 or 30 different markets, from banking to detergent, you name it. So that's a very important way of opening your mind to things you don't know, and being prepared to take the best of what you have as a product and present it to the best angle. And that's the job of a film distributor, is getting, once you have the film that's produced by someone else, trying to find the audience, trying to find the best things you can say. And things you can say is, yes, it's a film by Woody Allen, or yes, it's a film that has Will Smith, or yes, it's the first film dealing with this or that. And then organizing the communication around what you design, what you define, what you found as the key points. Again, that experience as a film distributor is vital when you start working on a script, or a film, at whatever stage it is, so that you trying to optimize. Of course, it's a very privileged look at the film industry, and I'm very privileged having done this for close to 10 years, handling actually more than 150 films, breaking box office records. This is always nice, but of course it's miles or planets away from what the independent world is dealing with now. Then after that, I got to execute my passion for the internet and the possibilities it brings in connecting very precisely to whom you want to target. I became a pioneer in the internet world for film, launching in 2000 the first portal for video on demand in France, and one of the very early ones in the world. And of course, we lost a lot of money around that. Then continued to feed the career, the potential that filmfestivals.com, the portal which we founded in 1995, has. And I want to, well, maybe say a few words about that. Maybe now, I'll make it brief so that you can understand how this portal can help the filmmakers. It's a portal that has two things. It's a blog portal where filmmakers or any film career individual can open a profile, just like in Facebook, and self-promote. It's also a portal that has news about the festival circuit, so editorial about what's happening daily. And we produce every week the Festival Beat, which is a very exhaustive view of what's happening on the festival circuit. I'll come back a little bit about what this can do for you, but basically you should consider opening as a filmmaker a profile and feeding as regularly as possible, feeding with news of what you're achieving on the festival circuit. Every time you win a prize somewhere, well, go on your profile and post it, and then link your other social profiles with this one. I am also proud of my number 4 point in the bio, which is my latest hat as festival agent for the past maybe 10 years. I'm acting as a consultant and helping the producers come up with a festival strategy and executing it on the circuit. I'll come back in more details about that. I'm a board member of a couple of institutions that help me connect with other producers and individuals. The European Film Academy, the equivalent of the Oscars for Europe. I'm on the board of a couple of festivals that helps me really understand the needs of the festival directors, what they like, how they like it, how they work, how they must change when COVID happens, etc., etc. I've been founder of a couple of festivals and on the jury of many, and running a few as well. A few words now about this festival agent. It's a term I invented because there are very few people doing the job I'm doing. I do that because I love marketing a film, and because I know the festival circuit very much and very well, and know thousands of festival directors. And I wanted to connect this experience and bring it to filmmakers and producers who usually in the independent world lack the big marketing or communication and festival experience. I'm mostly dealing with festival filmmakers that have produced 1 or 2 or 3 and that are not going to be distributed by majors. So they need to find a festival career and find sales agents and buyers. And that's where I'm helping on all these aspects. So first, creating the festival strategy. What is a festival strategy, my God? Yes, you need one. Starting by what type of festivals will like your film. Niche festival, for genre festival, if you made a short or feature on horror or documentary, will you need to go to specific documentary festivals or generic festivals like Berlin, or questions like, should I wait for Cannes? Should I wait for Berlin? Or how about Toronto, etc.? All these questions are crucial. And of course, the temptation is, I want to wait for Cannes, which is in May, usually July this year. But then you might miss all the festivals in between the moment you make these decisions, because the Cannes people want a premiere status, meaning you're not allowed to screen anywhere else in the world except your country. And many people I speak, when I start the first step, they start thinking, yeah, I want Cannes. Of course, everyone wants to go to Cannes, and it's a wonderful platform, very important, but it doesn't take all type of films. There are only a certain number of films that are selected, 20 in the main competition, etc. So recognizing this, you might need a little bit becoming a little bit humble about that and say, yeah, well, I'm not Tarantino, my cast is not that well known, and maybe I should, and that's where I come and advise. Yes, you should start with other types of festival, especially if the window is very far from the Cannes date. Handling submission. Well, there's a lot of things you need to do, and I advise about the film freeway opportunities, etc. As part of the paying service I'm offering, because yeah, that's a service I'm selling, and the price is very modest, about 500 euros per month, plus a share of whatever we're doing. So I do offer a lot of promotion.
Are you doing construction there, Bruno?
Yes, no, the door is cannot close for a moment, like the knot fell down, and so it needs my repair. Sorry about that. So a lot of promotions offered in the newsletter from filmfestivals.com, which reach about 165,000 film professionals every Friday, called the Festival Beat. I also offer reaching a monthly blast, actually twice a month, reaching all the festival programmers in my database. I have about 12,000 of those. I also am in the position to negotiate submission waivers, because yes, submitting a film to a festival comes with a cost in most countries, mostly in the US, by the way. Some festivals in Europe do not charge submission fees. In other words, the amount you need to pay to submit your film, it can vary from, let's say, 10, 20, 30 for a short, to up to several hundred euros for feature films or documentaries. So recognizing that, you must understand you cannot submit to each of the 10,000 film festivals I know are in the world. It's crazy. It requires a big budget. So you need to have a strategy, make a selection, and handle the submission through whichever portal the festival have been aligned to, from Film Freeway to Fest Home, etc. I also, I'm in a position to get some waivers, because the festivals like the fact that I'm curating films. In other words, bringing only better films. And I'm also positioned to ask for revenues for each of the films that are submitted. In other words, screening fee. If your film is selected, someone, probably not the producer or the director, can ask the director of the festival, hey, yeah, we're thrilled, we're so proud, we're happy to be selected at your festival, but look, the producers have a policy of asking a license fee for maybe up to free screenings in your festival, and that can be, well, a few hundreds to 1,000 euros or more in some cases. And the way I'm handling this is negotiating on the behalf, in other words, playing the bad guy towards the festival director, and splitting revenue with the producer. I've noticed in most cases, every producer I know receiving the magical email from the festival saying, yes, you're in, does not dare saying, how much am I getting? So that's where I'm entering. So I'm curating about 5, 6, 10 max films, docs, feature films, genre, and a few shorts. Of course, that's a lot of work for each time, and that's the reason I'm only selecting the ones I like, that I understand will have a chance of faring very well on the festival circuit. So that's where my experience is important, because in some cases you understand that it's not the type of film that festival will like, and in other cases, recognizing that there can be festival darlings means you have to prepare for the marketing and create packages and electronic press kit, etc., etc. So I'm really enjoying this work, and that I've been in a position to counseling producers in many more fields than festival strategy, because I just happened to have ideas I wanted to share, like, how about this better title, in my opinion, changing the poster or doing the trailer or optimizing the trailer. I've done these things so many times that for me it's relatively easy. So, and I'm proud of that I have this dialogue with a producer that ends up being a very positive and constructive process, where, yes, I've changed, for instance, opening of films, edits of films, because I saw things that would make the first sequences of the movie more punchy and things like that. I've changed titles, I've changed poster, etc., and I love doing that. I think it's also at this stage important to share. I mentioned Cannes, and I want to bring, because everyone dreams to, will eventually go to Cannes, and I think I've been there more than 30 times. I can't remember. Starting in '87, I probably 34 times. Well, except the strange year when they had COVID, which was a virtual festival. So yes, I do have a Cannes experience, and I've seen so many amazing things happen in Cannes that I need to share it, because if one of your movies, dear filmmakers, one of your movies one day, maybe not your first film, but if one of your movie comes to Cannes, then you need to prepare months ahead and understand that this can change, like I said, make your career. But it comes with a lot of work and knowledge. What is Cannes? Well, it's a big budget. In terms of producing this event, it's the #1 festival in the world. It's the #1 market in the world. It has one of the biggest numbers of films are being offered to crowd and professionals. In a normal year, there are over 1,000 films that are being screened, both in the festival and in the market. The festival probably accounting for 100, so the rest being market screenings. The number of journalists makes it the #1 or event in terms of attendance of journalists. It's as big as World Cup, Soccer World Cup, or Olympics. There are probably more journalists attending Cannes in a normal year than any other event in the world, which means that if you have a story, then you have the potential to get it plugged, to get it disseminated and promoted. And again, I have many strong examples in my career that I can testify. Yes, well, number of journalists when we started were only, well, small. It's now very big. The web journalists are amazingly numerous there. In terms of professional attendance, basically the colleagues, the peers you might meet there. In a normal year, it's between 25 and 30,000 film professionals attending a few days. It's pretty expensive, so a few of them do not spend the whole length of the festival, but basically it means everyone is there. So your potential screenwriter or producer or funder, they're all attending there. They all you'll recognize the crowds and the clusters by where they're staying, like the big shots, big investors staying at the Hotel du Cap, etc. So it's we can spend more time, another time on this, but basically it's a unique chance of promoting and selling and meeting people. In terms of transaction, actually, this figure is wrong. I'm sorry. It's over 1.5 billion euros in terms of transaction, meaning buying and selling film rights. The market looks like normally a little bit like this. With this is actually a very good memory. You see here the logo of filmfestivals.com. We introduced a long time ago the first Wi-Fi bar in the market, but what I'm saying is the market has booths where you can meet a sales agent and pitch your film. It has film commissions, so the market is open, and that unless the American film market, where the booths are actually in rooms in the Loews Hotel, and not so easy. Here, everything is open, so all you need is a little bit of guts and a few business cards. Another crazy thing I did here is years ago, probably a decade ago, I can't even remember, we created a reproduction of Cannes on Second Life. That's when being a crazy innovator on the net, that's one of the things I did. And that year we had U2 performing on the red carpet live, a small concert, like 4 songs, because they had a film called U2 3D that was being shown in the market. And I took the opportunity to reproduce everything in Cannes and put it in Second Life, and offer filmmakers a chance to screen their film in Second Life and small screening rooms and being promoted on special places, etc. What I want to say is there are always room in Cannes for promotion outside of the box. I had filmmakers which I screened there on Second Life to 25 people, because we couldn't stream in larger rooms than that got lucky, that made deals, etc., because we invented something. So the message is think out of the box. And of course, the first temptation, if you had a lot of money, would be, all right, I want the first cover of a Variety, I want a poster here, I want the big poster in the Marché, etc. But there are ways that maybe do not cost that much, that you need to scratch your head and come up with and invent. That's just a quick reproduction of what happened, and the crowd that was live attending our red carpet thing and the concert. We had like in 3D, all the red carpet. This here was my office with actually reproduction of the posters that were in my real office, and the posters of the clients, etc. That was the look of the small capture, the small places we invented to screen the film, and it would screen in this little square here, but and people could actually move. I mean, their avatar and all of that. That's my office, like I said. Stairway to Heaven. I'm not, trust me, I'm not going to sing that, nor perform on the guitar, but that's one word I want to say about Cannes and festivals in general. They can be your lucky fairy tale path to stardom, to fame, and to a filmmaker's career. Just remember that people like Spielberg, George Lucas, Luc Besson started by showing their first film, sometimes their first short in the film festival, and got noticed. So it's very important to recognize that. One, you see the artist here, the poster of the artist, and this picture here is when I offered to the director a prize from filmfestivals.com called the Film Festivals Prize, like Best Festival Film of the Year, to the artist. What I was recognizing in that film was a very successful path on the circuit. The film started, I'm talking Weinstein days. And he was good at that. He was good at finding, sourcing films that had the potential to travel well, and use the fame and the awareness that the festival will be creating. And things like standing ovation in Cannes is worth millions in terms of the effects it can have on the people that are attending, the media, the festival directors, the big shots, the producers, everyone attending. So that film, The Artist, started in Cannes and ended up with, I think, 2 Oscars or something. And it had a path of success all around it. I cannot list the number of festivals it played, but it was very important.
By the way, we had an actor from The Artist on our actors panel.
Wonderful. Was he speaking?
No, Ken DeVishin.
Sure. Funny. Yeah. It can, set trends. A little bit like Sundance will set trends of an independent style. Festivals like Annecy will bring fame and box office because it's the number 1 festival for animation. So a success on a big film festival will mean a lot. It will mean big dollars. I have an example I'd like to share, and Vanessa was there, Boys in the Hood. I start by the end. I'll start the story by the end. No, I'll start by the beginning. Now, the end was, yes, Vanessa and I and a group of people and the daughter of John Singleton, the director, walked up the red carpet 2 or 3 years ago for a homage and a tribute that the festival gave to the film. But let's roll back in time. And I think 95, when 93, I can't recall exactly, it doesn't matter, when the film came out, the story of this guy, John Singleton, was a young director living in South Central LA, meaning poor, and having how you say, he got a fund to attend UCLA, I think, and met my boss, the Sony top honcho called Peter Gruber, who was teaching at the school, saying, "Hey, Mr. Gruber, teacher, I have an idea for a film." And he said, "Interesting, go talk to Stephanie Allen, the producer of the so-called ethnic films at Sony." And long story short, the film got green-lighted. Then someone in the studio say, "Do you think it could play in Cannes?" And they sent us a print when I was working at Sony in France. I sent it to Gilles Jacob, the head of the festival, who watched it in the screening room and he called me saying, "Yeah, we loved it. You're in." That was in February. And I can tell you that between February and May, my team and I worked almost nonstop to build awareness, to build the buzz, and to create circles that would go larger of people who would know about the film, know about this message, etc. At the end, I could detail many of the things I did. I just want to say that what we did in terms of marketing was just stick to what the film was ethnically and to be faithful to it. In other words, instead of buying posters, we did buy posters because we were a studio. So we had big H sheets, we call H sheets, like 4 meters by 3 meters high, big posters on the croisette. And instead of designing the poster and posting it there, I asked a graffiti artist to come and interpret the film live with an artist's view. And that, in such, was first truthful to what the film is, but also a source of publicity, because I got the Canal Plus to come and record and to do a time-lapse video of it, how they built it, etc. I also remember organizing a club, a party, and of course the rap was very essential in the film, and but was very new in France. So I asked Ice Cube to travel. He flew to France and performed on stage, and that was part of all the elements that we wanted to create to let people understand what was the film about. And each of these, thank God, turned out as a success. The John Singles ended up having a non-stop interviews. So we got the world covered with news. And when it was time for the screening, we had so much demand that we had to turn down people. There were 1,500 people who could not enter the screening. And that's the best thing that you can dream of, having a full house. So we took an ad saying by demand another screening, et cetera, et cetera. Anyway, the reason I'm giving out this long speech about the marketing there is, if you build it, they will come. If you work, if you try to understand who your target is, what they like, what they don't like. I knew our target in Cannes would not like the rap easily. So I designed the best way so they could. Lots of booze and a kind of clown at the entrance called Django Edwards, who was breaking the ice and making crazy things so that people would be entering in a great mood. But anyway, everything turned out very successful. And at the end, the head of the studio on the tarmac in the airport, when he shook hands, said, "Bruno, thank everyone in the office, and we've been so successful. It's amazing." First thing I do back in LA, I'm going to change the box office estimate for the film, meaning the prediction of what the film would bring for US and Canada was currently 30. He said, with all the buzz, all the things you did, all the success we had, I'll make it 50 for US, Canada. Actually, it was 57 in the box office. We did more than what he anticipated, and the world doubled that. So basically, my first time in my career, I could put a figure, even if it's a prediction. I could put a figure on what the festival fame brought to this film, which was over 45 or between $45 million and 50. It also brought fame to John Singleton. He was the first-time director out of nowhere. The first film, he became a Oscar-nominated, twice Oscar-nominated film director, and he got a deal with Sony, etc., etc. So that is what the festival can bring. And yes, he didn't win anything in Cannes. He didn't win cash. So the sales agent point of view, if you do a screening, it must bring cash. So some of the crazy thing you hear from sales agents is sometimes if you do too many festival screenings, it will put the resource of the potential audience dry, because you're taking too many audience away from what is going to happen when you release the film. That's very crazy, because to get an audience, you need to spend. As a distributor, we spent a lot. Bringing a film in Cannes was a big expense, but it brings back. So you need to spend on publicity and advertising, and festivals bring you free publicity. If you win a prize, it brings you a laurel that will mean things to audience around the world. So what you bring in, what you get in Cannes or in any festival will be things that you don't need to spend. So it's important. How about the AFM now? Yeah, I meant number one market in the world, Cannes. AFM is number two, but actually pretty close to being number one. There might be a little bit of difference in terms of who's attending, and maybe there's a bias in the films that are shown in AFM that are a little bit different, maybe more commercial, genre, you name it, docs, etc. Whereas Cannes will brag about having a little bit of panache and a little bit of art house things. And also the fact that the market in Cannes has a festival brings more red carpet fame and glare, or panache, or glitz, or I don't know how you can call it, which is the thing that is missing at AFM. But anyway, the 4 or 5 days at AFM are extremely useful for young filmmakers, again, for the same reasons, because it's a chance to meet sales agents and meet other other peers, and meet a few festival directors that are attending, looking for films. A few things I want to share to get ready for when you do the next EFM, probably not this year, but because it's virtual, but the year after is, and that works for everywhere you go in the world, practice and rehearse your pitch. You need to be prepared to come up with a pitch that doesn't last more than 2 minutes, or if you can make it in 1 minute, it's even, I mean, the shorter the better. And if you don't succeed in getting the pitch short, if you don't succeed to get a few of your friends or family having a clear understanding in a few sentences, then there might be a problem with your scenario. So I would advise very early on, when you're making your scenario, before you start producing, putting your money and all your effort and etc., check whether the pitch you're making is a winner with everyone you're doing, and make sure. And if it does not come easy, again, there might be a problem, or being more positive, trying to find a solution and maybe add in your script elements that will make it more teasing, palatable, likable. It's important to say where you are in terms of stage. I'm writing, I'm in pre-production, we've just finished, we have a finished film, or no, it's in color grading, you name it, whatever it is, tell where you are and also say what you're looking for. I'm looking for distribution, I'm looking for investment, seed money, cash, etc., etc. It's important to be able to find a catch line. Maybe you're not familiar. Maybe it's a French word, but tagline or something that describes that you can think as something you can put on your poster. And it's also important to give as many images in the mind of whoever is listening. Your listener must be intrigued. He must understand, have a kind of a clear vision, or as clear as possible, of what you're doing. Seven meets Rosemary's Baby. And try to get examples that everyone in the world knows, because if you start saying if you give a local film that doesn't play, never played outside of the US or of Brazil or whatever, it doesn't help. Same thing, make sure that when you say it, we're thinking of or we have attached these people, make sure that there are people that are famous. Otherwise, don't mention the name. Just mention the fact that they have been playing in the biggest box office TV series or whatever in your country. But it's important to have people understand what's unique about your film. It's not a remake, it's not a sequel, and it has to be to bring your own creative mind. What you're looking for, I'm not sure at which stage you need to say that. I would recommend to say that probably at the end, but at the end, what's very important is always ask for the next step. Just push the people in front of you to be engaged, to commit to something else, to a next step. So your objective is to get a second meeting, because in 2 minutes or 1 minute, whatever the length you can't expect to sell and get a check with $5 million, but you're just be satisfied if you gain the second, if you gain the access to the second round. That's your knockout. That's a winner. As far as what you need to do is that works also for the online version. You need to target who you want to meet and tell them and book a meeting at least a week or 2 weeks before the event, because those people on the market have very busy schedule. For instance, the sales agents, they have meetings with buyers every 10 minutes. So if you want to maybe secure a sales agent, you'd probably better off trying to reach them maybe at the end, towards the end, but not too late because they are already packed. And just say that you need 5 minutes to introduce and be ready for the next step that will be virtual. So it's important to contact the sales agents by email to book that meeting, and one email will not be enough. It takes 1 or 2, and they need to be different, so that they need to be HTML rich and nicely edited, etc. But they need to you need to build something. In other words, just not write out of and cold, but start with elements, showing a first look of this and or first idea of first page of a script, or well, I said here 15 minutes. That's no, I should revise that. 15 is way too long. There's something very important for Cannes and for AFM. It's the Cinendo profile. It's a platform that will cost you 80 euro per year, I think. But that's the one that which every professional is consulting, and you can add there the films you have produced, or you can upload them, and that will mean a lot to the people you're talking. It means you are part of their world. You're on Cinendo, and you can use that as well as using as a complement filmfestivals.com as an electronic press kit or electronic business card, somewhere where you gather all the marketing information that are important for the film, for the marketing and the sales of your film. There are like 3 places you need to be visible. That's Cinendo, that's IMDb, and filmfestivals.com. Now you can also have a film website, a short, a blog, you name it. It doesn't have to be big, but at least go and invest $10 to have your domain name, mygreatmovie.com or .film, which is more expensive, etc., and have 5 pages like synopsis and poster, trailer, director's statement, and stills, and that's probably enough. So you can build that in 5 minutes. Or, well, maybe half an hour if you're not fluent on the web. Now, I want to give you this tip I've experienced in my first Cannes ever. I was sitting at the opening of the festival with the head of studio, no, my boss, anyway, my French boss. And in front of me at the end of the film, we found out there was a Spielberg sitting there. And my boss kind of tapped on his shoulder. Hey, Steven, hi. My name is, we met in Cannes, blah, 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 blah. And we started chatting for 5 minutes before leaving the room. And after that, I just asked him, hey, did you actually meet him in Cannes? And he told me no. So he had bluffed, and that's again another sign of this profession is very snob and is very closed, and you need to show that you're part of their world. So if you say I've been to Cannes 10 times, or we met in Cannes, even I think we met in Cannes, you can try if you're not sure. And that will mean you're part of the world, of the important people in the industry. And secondly, who cares? Because you meet in Cannes 500 people, and not everyone has a great memory of faces, and you can either be mistaken or forgot, or so no one will. So everyone, sure, and continue. So basically, that's your first thing. That's your. It's a very strong way to start a conversation. Say, hey, I have this great project. I think you would be a great part of, or you should be interested in. Remember, if you say I have a great project, oh, good, yeah, nice, good for you. But if you say something like, I have a project that you should be interested in, or you could be interested, I think you'll get their attention. What I said about Cannes can work with the key festivals like Sundance, Toronto, Venice, or other festivals. There's another thing I've experienced. Some trainees that were helping me in Cannes told me that they entered the most exclusive parties in Cannes by just saying, "Hey, I work with filmfestivals.com," and people didn't exactly, well, it was 20 years ago, 15 years ago. Now we're pretty famous, but they thought maybe this is the festival official website. So yeah, I want publicity on this website. So yeah, you're in, come in, especially if you're young and attractive and come in with a camera, meaning yes, you'll be giving and offering coverage. So, well, I found this as an explanation to trainees that came back the next day, showing me pictures of them in the middle of a George Lucas party, having a selfie with George Lucas and the actor, which was the hottest party that maybe 200 people attended, and they got in. So be positive. And one thing I suggest also before attending the market at AFM is to look at the presentation that Jonathan Wolf is doing, which is an introduction. He's calling it the orientation presentation. He gives tips of what AFM is about. Now, I'm not going to speak of AFM online because I'm not sure you're about to go there to be accredited there, but they do have a pretty comprehensive presentation on that. It's very important also, wherever you're going, to attend the panels and the conference programs that each festival is organizing, because you hear firsthand experience, and you will learn. And of course, at the end, just go there, meet the people that were speakers, and try to give them your business card and say, I have something for you we need to discuss. So Vanessa, that's what I wanted to share about the festival circuit, and I'm open to whatever you want to, or questions, or I'm also happy to share this presentation if you want to, but here we go. Vanessa, any questions or anything you want me to?
That was a very comprehensive, Bruno. That was awesome. I mean, you almost took all of my questions away, so that was great. I would love to, I mean, you gave some great examples of why festivals are so important and how festivals can help make your film or break your film. Do you have any closing advice for any of our young professionals here that you would, in terms of, I mean, it's such a big world, there's hundreds of festivals. How do they plan their first festival? How do they even begin to negotiate the festival scene?
Yeah, again, it's very important to understand into which festival your film is likely to play. And the easy way is to go to the niche. The easy way is to find advice with people that you know of that have had the film on the circuit playing in, let's say, more than 50 festivals. Because, playing in 3 or 4 or 5 festivals doesn't make you a festival expert. So try to get advice from people that have been playing in scores of festivals, and ask them which festival they thought were important. The question is are you capable, are you able to attend a few of those? Some festivals will invite the filmmakers, but it's kind of a minority. And you heard me say that it's important to attend and meet. So my advice is when you plan the movie in your budget, make sure you have a little bit something for the festival circuit, because it's going to cost you. It's going to cost you, well, if you want to, hire consultants, press attaché, or publicists that will write your press release or whatever, or festival agents like myself, or pay for plane tickets, because very few festivals will pay for that. You can expect to have a few accommodation helps. So it's important. And you have to also build your marketing kit, posters. So you have have someone design a poster. You have to print a few that you can bring and roll and take to wherever festival you're going, or send. You have to build a trailer. That's very important. Poster, trailer. Work on your synopsis. Make sure you have a short one and a long one, and you have a tagline that catchy. Try to find people who will give you quotes. Like submit screeners to a few people you know that are journalists and ahead of any screening, so you can extract a few good lines that you can use in your press dossier. And then, start, depending on how much you have, and start by opening your account on Film Freeway, and start by submitting to the festival that have free submissions, and pitch directly to the one you really think, I don't know, like Annecy if you have made an animation, the number one, or Clermont-Ferrand if you have a short film, that's a number one festival for short, happening in January. So again, if you just completed the film, let's say in February, and you want to submit to Clermont, which is January next year, which means you have to wait for 1 year or 11 months, and that would be stupid. So consider the key festivals and their dates, and be practical. My theory is it's better to start than to wait, because there's a time frame. There's a window of opportunity for your film, and it's usually 6 months, a year and a half after you completed. And the festival programmers don't like old films. It's like old meat. It stinks.
Well, so, you can also, exactly. You can get your sales agent to help you strategize what festival you will do your premiere at. But another thing is, aside
if you have
from
a sales agent.
Yes, your sales agent and your publicist. But aside from not only helping your movie get made by the contacts that you will make at festivals, but the festival strategy will make the whole life of your film in the terms of distribution, because of that whole publicity angle with the media, how it was screened, the festival, what the people say, the awards, right? And another thing that we didn't talk about is, many times just by going to festivals, you can get jobs, right? You meet people and you might get, someone's looking for a director. You met them at a party, suddenly you're hired to direct their film or produce their film. Or,
the key word is network. Because this job, any filmmaking job is a teamwork effort. There's no one person making a film on its own. So you need to learn to understand what the other jobs are, and who is good at it, and who you'd like to work with, and meet them and be friendly, so that when the time is right, you have a team, or you build your team. And festivals are good at that, because you hang out, there's a lot of time. There's a lot of opportunities, or drinks and parties and stuff. And don't be shy and talk to people. What are you here for? You have a film. It's your first question. You have? Oh no, you don't. So what? You have a project, or what are you working on? What did you do? Or perhaps we could work together? And of course, that's in teamwork. The word team is important, and you meet them in the places where you have most people. So festivals and parties in the big film, in the big cities for the industry, Paris or LA or New York. There are a lot of premieres. You should attend them, be invited, crash those parties and meet people and try to build a team and drink good.
Crash those parties. And even if you don't know the what are the important festivals, because there's literally hundreds of them, you can do your research, you can get advice, but you can also start just going to one near you. And in that festival, you'll start hearing, oh, well, you should go to this one and then that one. So even just by going to the festivals.
And
Bruno had another.
One thing very important that you touched, Vanessa, I want to say is, you understand you have to be part of this world to enter this world. So try anything you can. Try to act in your friends, even if it's for free, whatever. Be part of it. One good way using the festival is to volunteer to be a festival helper. Next door, as Vanessa mentioned, if you have a few festivals in your city, go there and ask to be a volunteer. They need help. You can also, if you have skills in writing or shooting or editing or making pictures, you can work for filmfestivals.com as a reporter. And the deal is, if you ask me, hey, I have this festival, I live in Chicago, I'd love to attend the Chicago Film Festival, say, all right, if you tell me this in time, like a few months before it's happening, I can get you accredited as journalists, provided you don't disappoint the festival people who gave you that accreditation, that job, because it's a give and take. Festivals give accreditation in return for a little bit of your time, writing an interview, writing a review, posting a few pictures, or editing a few videos. So I'll make this easy for you. If some of you want to do that, I'll get you officially accredited as filmfestivals.com reporter, and we'll publish and that is the thing. And we can tell the festival is we'll give you publicity. We'll give a news and blog post during the festival that will be included in a newsletter reaching out 165,000 film professionals worldwide. You'll be visible on the homepage, etc., etc. So that will probably make them happy. And that's your excuse to being part of that world, attending, being invited on these parties as a press. You'll be invited to watch films and meet people. And you can say, hey, Mr. Spielberg or whoever is attending, may I have a quick interview for filmfestivals.com? If they say yes, you have 5 minutes. You shoot, whatever. And at the end, if you give your business cards, hey, by the way, I have this project I really want to discuss with you because it's blah, 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 whatever. So once you have entered in the conversation, they understand you're part of the same world. You're smart, you're nice, you hear, you listen, and yeah, you're an individual that maybe, yes, even if I'm Spielberg, I can talk to you. And it's very different from crossing him in the street and say, Mr. Spielberg, I want to share that project with you. Go away. Well,
that's great advice, Bruno. Where you've basically covered more than imaginable. So that's a great comprehensive class. Thank you. My last question before we go is, what is the festival world looking like post-pandemic? And do you have any thoughts on that?
I think there's lots of question marks. So I couldn't come here to you and say that's the way it is, because people are still cautious. They have been hit, and the way they've been hit can be very, very, very. I know of some festivals that were launching and spent fortunes, big budgets to do a number one, and had to cancel. Whereas tickets were bought and people were invited, etc., etc. So people have been really hit. Most of the festivals have found a digital way out, doing an online version of their event, learning the way to buy, to get eyeballs, to people to watch online, which is not a given. That's not their job. They're not usually good at getting online people. But anyway, they now understand that the festival will need to be hybrid with 2 dimensions, both physical and online. And the online element adds more scope because it enlarges the scope and the reach that the festival can have, and will be more and more because again they will learn ways of acquiring viewers. Again, that's not an easy task of maintaining attention for people to stay in front of their computer, watch a film is okay, but doing some networking events on the internet is not easy, and you lose people after a while. I hope I didn't lose too many of your viewers.
Well, I will say that festivals are getting back in person, and the way I'm looking at it right now is just not having much expectation, but going to the ones that I can, and just trying to take it while it's there, and we never know what's around the corner now. But
they lost money, they lost sponsors. So everything I understand, everywhere I see is a little diminished. So that also means less films curated, less events, less parties, less of the good things we all love on the festival, which is the opportunities to mingle and network and expand. But it's there will be the good thing. There will be more. They're still there. They most of them stayed alive, and it's going to come back.
There will be a great hunger for them when it does come back. So I think a greater hunger than ever. So, well, Bruno, we're out of time, and you've been awesome, and thank you so much. And we've been working together for some time, since 2010. I look forward to continuing working together. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
We'll be in touch soon. Okay. Thank you so much.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye.
Ciao.